So Apple just announced their iPhone 13 and 13 Pro models, and I'm honestly kind of torn because this has got to be the least biggest update Apple has ever made to their iPhones, in my opinion. This is an S year for sure. So if you have an iPhone 12 or an iPhone 12 Pro, you do not need to update this year. But I am a content creator, and this new cinematic camera mode that they offer on the new iPhone 13s is kind of crazy, because before you would need to either have a DSLR camera or download an app like Filmic Pro that I use right now to film this video on my YouTube channel to get that nice bokeh effect with the blurred background. But now with this new cinematic camera mode, which is a software feature, not necessarily a hardware feature, you can now get that nice bokeh effect in your videos. The only caveat is it can only shoot in 1080p 30 frames a second. So if you want that 4K resolution and that bokeh effect, you're still gonna have to use a DSLR proper camera to do that. Another thing that's really cool with this new cinematic camera mode is you can film the video however you want, and then in post-production you can actually change which subject is in focus, be it yourself or the background. That's pretty cool, because when you're shooting with a DSLR camera, most oftentimes when you rack that focus, you're locked in for that shot. You can't go back and change it most often. You can do it via software, but that's a little bit harder. This feature is for the average person shooting average video. So if you're somebody who has an iPhone 11, an iPhone 10, maybe you want to start shooting YouTube videos, but you don't want to get the full YouTube setup with the DSLR cameras and the lenses, this is the perfect iPhone for you. Apple could have rolled this feature out to their older iPhones. It is not a feature that requires new hardware. This is something that is strictly software, but they're gonna make it exclusive to the iPhone 13, which I think is kind of lame, because Apple could have rolled this out to the older iPhones and made you keep your iPhone a little bit longer, since they're all about that green life and making sure that e-waste goes away, removing the charge brick. They could have made their legacy phones last a little bit longer, like the 11 Pro and the 12s, but they decided to make this an iPhone 13 feature, so I'm not going to knock them on that. When you look at the iPhone 13, the base model, you get the two cameras, but they're at a diagonal now. Why they decided to do this? I think it's two reasons. Number one, the sensors are bigger, they're going to let in a lot more light, and they're going to shoot better widescreen video. So because those sensors were wider, they couldn't put them up and down because it would have not fit in that little square, so they made them diagonal. Another reason they did this is the Apple thing to do is to make your iPhone look different, so that when somebody sees it, they can spot it and say, hey, that guy has a new iPhone. So if you're getting the iPhone 13, you got that diagonal camera, you know that, hey, all those peasants with the iPhone 12s with that camera going up and down, no, you got the iPhone 13, you got that new iPhone. So that's another thing that Apple did to kind of make you want to upgrade, because this year, honestly, there's not really much to upgrade about. Yeah, you got the software features. Yeah, you're going to get longer battery life, over an hour and a half on the regular model and up to 2 hours on the Pros. But when you look at the whole package, it kind of looks the same as last year. Really, you're really getting that new software feature with the cameras. You're going to get that new battery life, better battery life. You're going to get ceramic shield on the base models, which is awesome. You're also getting new colors on the base model iPhone 13 and 13 mini. You're getting a brand new pink color, which is like barely pink. It's like a pale pink. Some people might get it just for that color. Who knows, you know? So if we look at the iPhone 13 Pro models, we're getting 120 Hertz ProMotion display. Finally coming to the iPhone, which is awesome. The way Apple implements this in their new iPhones is going to be pretty cool, because it's going to be an adaptive refresh display, meaning that it's not always going to be at 120 Hertz. Sometimes it might go down to 60 Hertz. It may go up to 120 and then ramp back down. They're going to use dynamic refresh rates to make sure that you conserve as much battery life. And this year, the batteries are getting bigger, so you're going to get more battery life out of the same iPhone this year with the new A15 chips. On the new iPhone 13 Pros and Pro Max, we're also getting bigger sensors, so it's going to let in a lot more light, especially on those ultra wide shots. You're going to let a lot more light. And when you're shooting pictures in dark mode or video in dark mode, you're going to get a lot more natural light coming into the shot. So you're going to be able to film higher quality in lower light situations. Another thing that we're getting on the new iPhone is a better macro lens. So you're going to be able to shoot really close up pictures in high quality that you would otherwise need a new lens on. You can do this natively on the iPhone without an extra lens, and the pictures are crispy. They're crispy as heck. Obviously they're edited, but I'm curious to see how people use this phone in the wild taking pictures with that macro lens, that new lens that Apple's gonna put on their iPhone Pro models. So aside from the new software with the new cinematic video recording, the bigger battery, the faster processor, the 120 hertz, you're not really getting much more bang for your buck buying the new iPhone. Obviously it's gonna be faster. Fastest iPhone we've ever shipped. Obviously, it better be the fastest because it's the newest one. You're gonna get better battery life. But if you have an iPhone 11 Pro Max, if you have an iPhone 11, if you have an iPhone 12 or 12 Pro Max, you do not need to upgrade this year. I've already made a video on the iPhone 14 leaks. Next year's iPhone is gonna be the big update. So you wanna make sure that you hold out for that iPhone if you don't need the new cinematic camera, if you don't need the new low light or the macro lens. Who is this new iPhone for? This new iPhone is for two types of people. Number one, if you want to start making YouTube videos and you have an old iPhone, like a really old iPhone, like an 8, 10X Max. If you have a really old iPhone like the iPhone 8, the iPhone 6S, or something really old, or the SE1, this iPhone is going to be awesome for you. Even the mini, because you're still going to get that cinematic camera view mode on the iPhone mini. But this iPhone is also for people who have an older iPhone, even if you don't want to film YouTube videos and you want to just upgrade to the newest iPhone, get that new squared off design. If you're coming from anything like an iPhone 10, even the iPhone 10s, I think it's a worthy upgrade to the iPhone 13. And that's about it. That's all Apple has for the new iPhones this year. Definitely an S upgrade. It looks exactly the same. Cameras are a little bit different. Software is a little bit different on the camera angles, but basically it's the same phone. So stay tuned. If you like this video, make sure to like it, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.